What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with some Destiny. And today we are going to be talking about the House of Wolves expansion. Most particularly, we are going to be talking about the Prison of Elders, which, if you guys were paying attention, Bungie actually did their reveal stream for Prison of Elders today on May the 6th. Now, of course, House of Wolves is coming out on May 19th. It is the new DLC expansion for Destiny. They started off pretty good with the Reef reveal stream a couple weeks ago, then they did the Trials of Osiris, and now we have the Prison of Elders information. And I have to say, I am a little disappointed. Now, if you guys are expecting the whole, fanboy rainbows and puppy dogs reveal a review of the content that was looked at today, probably want to go somewhere else. I definitely the stream was not very enjoyable and definitely did not shed much light on this next expansion to give me any hope that it's going to really improve Destiny. But let's get into the specifics first and foremost. Prison of Elders is going to be a three-man event, three-man fire team, or three-woman fire team, however you want to call it. They are going to have different varying levels of it. There is a level 28, which will be the base level event, as Dee said. Basically, this is for, I guess, people that are new to the game, people that don't have high-level characters, can go right in and start playing it at level 28. Now, in order to unlock the Prison of Elders event, kind of like Trials of Osiris, you are going to have to play through the new story missions, which we still have not seen anything revealed on. And I guess that's a good thing, because we don't want all the content spoiled, but at the same time, it could also be a bad thing, because it may just turn out to be like the Dark Below all over again. Anyways, you're going to have to unlock it through there, doing the story missions from Petra in the Reef. And then once you have that all unlocked, you will be able to go into the Prison of Elders. Now, from what they showed, there are going to be 4 different modes of this, actually. There is the level 28 one. Now, the level 28 one will have matchmaking, and it's going to work basically like a strike playlist is what it looked like. You will get 25 reputation with the House of Judgment vendor, who's the fallen guy that's in the Reef, who's selling all kinds of armor, weapons, and stuff. He's got his own reputation level, so you've got another reputation grind with that, another faction to grind out. And so you will get 25 reputation for him, and then 6, I believe, Vanguard marks when you complete that. So that's going to be just like the Strike playlist. It's going to be level 28. You will be able to matchmake for it, and you'll be able to do it just over and over and over again. There's no limit to it. There's no weekly reset for it, except when the weekly reset comes, they will, I guess, I don't know. It's a randomized encounter, so I don't think there's going to be anything for them to reset in the actual prison. Now, there are a few others, 3 more that you can do after that. There is a Prison of Elders at level 32, one at level 34, and one at level 35, which I'm assuming is going to be the Elite Hardcore mode. Now, just a note here, you will not be able to do matchmaking for the level 32, level 34, or level 35. And of course, those 3 are the ones that are going to drop the in-game gear. So again, Bungie's restricting it to pre-mades and people with friends and all that other fun stuff. Make you go look at that LFG page to try to get a team for it. I'm going to do a separate video on the matchmaking problem in Destiny, because I just have so many thoughts on it that if I do it now, I'll just start babbling about something else and I'll get off track. So we're going to just do a separate video on matchmaking. I will just say that I am not a fan of them not having it, and basically at least offering the option, because as the way the game is right now, just so much of the in-game content is restricted from regular players because of no matchmaking, and I will get into that later, because I do think it's warranted in some situations, but overall I think there should at least be an option there for it, and I'll cover that in another video. Anyways, basically those 3, the 32, the 34, and the 35, are going to be the only ones that drop the end-game gear. The Etheric Light, which is the item you will need to ascend your current gear to level 34 or 365 attack. Those are only going to drop from the level 34 and the level 35. So the level 32 will not drop those. It will drop the armor cores, which you can trade in with the vendor to get new armor, legendary armor, and weapons. It will also drop the weapon cores. So if you do the level 32, you will still be able to get some of the quote in-game stuff, I guess, the new weapons and armor, but only the level 34 and 35 are actually going to drop that really good loot. And apparently there is also, I've heard this and not seen it, because apparently this is what Bungie is embargoing from a lot of the YouTubers who were invited to Bungie. There's apparently a treasure room at the very end if you complete the entire thing that has chests and things you unlock. And it gives you more loot. It gives you exotics and legendary weapons and other things, glimmer, all kinds of stuff. So they did not reveal that in the stream, unfortunately. The stream was about an hour and a half long, and unfortunately, they did not actually finish the stream. Because the content was apparently too hard for Deej and the developer and Professor Broman. Who, if you guys watched the stream, it was almost unwatchable because of Mr. Broman. Don't really follow him on Twitch, but that guy needs to drink the decaf. He was really obnoxious. A lot of people said King Gathalion was obnoxious on the Reef reveal, but I thought he actually did a very good job. Professor Broman was just way over the top. It was almost like they were paying him to be really super excited about the content. So that kind of ruined it for a lot of people. It was funny because the stream got up to about 200,000 viewers, then it dropped to 150K about 20 minutes in when he was just going crazy. So he needs to drink the decaf, that's for sure. All right, so getting back to Prison of Elders, basically the way it is going to work, there are 5 rounds when you go into the prison. The first 4 rounds are basically, it's an arena mode. You have to survive 3 waves of enemies. Where have we heard that before? Each round will have certain modifiers that can hurt or help you. This is basically like if you go into the Nightfall Strike and you have the burns and the other things that will work against you, except there's some new modifiers they're putting in. For example, they showed that basically there was an arc burn on one. There's one where it buffed the primary weapon damage. There was another where it debuffed your recharge time, so your grenades and your super and things recharged a lot slower. And then they also had one where it increased your shield power, but your shields did not recharge. So basically you got a stronger shield, but it would not recharge. So you would eventually probably die over time. Now, if you got revived during that mode, your shield would be restored. But again, they do not recharge at all. So some interesting modifiers, but again, kind of the same thing as the Nightfall Strikes, with those. Now, there are no checkpoints. So basically, if you complete like round 1, round 2, and then everybody decides, hey, let's go to orbit, you will have to start all over again. It's not like the raids where you can basically, get it to a checkpoint and come back 3 days later and play that with your friends. This one, it's basically you go to orbit, you have to start all the way over again. The first 4 rounds are the normal rounds, and the 5th round is a boss round. And they're assuming after that you beat that round, then you get access to that treasure room where you get the chests and the end-game rewards and the glimmer and other things like that. Now, the one thing that is sort of mixes it up a little bit is there are objective waves. While you're doing the 3 waves of killing enemies, you will some of them will tell you need to like there's mines you have to defuse. There's also VIP bosses that come in you have to kill. It's just like the public events on in any of the zones. Like the VIP boss will have 4 checkpoints, and if he reaches the 4th checkpoint, you basically fail that wave and your team wipes and you have to start over again. When the mine defusal one comes up, you have to basically go capture that point. It's just like doing a warsat event until you can get the bomb defused, and then you've got 2 more to do after that while you're taking fire from the enemies. And that's basically the same thing as doing the warsat or some of the other public events. So I'll get onto that a little bit more in the end, but that's essentially the game mode. It's basically you go in to a large room. It's like an arena. You'll have a bunch of enemies. It could be Fallen. It could be Hive. It could be Vex. They only showed, really all we saw was Cabal and Hive in the actual stream and the reveal. But it has been assumed that there are going to be a lot more, or, it'll have all 4 enemy factions. But it's just the same enemies that are already in the game. It's nothing new, nothing groundbreaking. So that's pretty much the gist of Prison of Elders. Now, like I said, it's going to be a 3-man. If you do the 32, the 34, the 35, those will be a weekly lockout. So you can only do it one time to get the loot. So it's essentially like a Nightfall or a weekly strike. It's just another repetitive content mode similar to those that you can do, and it gives you one extra thing to do every week. My initial opinion on it is, like, I just really did not find it very impressive at all. Like, if this is what Bungie's been working on for the last few months for this DLC, and if this is what they replaced the raid with, wow, that's just, it just really shows me they're really just catering to a very minimalist population of gamers, people who are just, people that love the grind and just doing the simplistic, repetitive content over and over again, I guess, are happy with it. But I can't see where this adds any depth to the story, or it adds any depth to the PvE, where it adds any content whatsoever, really. My initial impression through the first 20 minutes was basically if you took the first room from the Fogoth, the Summoning Pit Strike, basically you take that room where you have to kill off 3 waves of enemies while you wait for Dinklebot to open the door. If you go to the Devil's Lair strike, the initial part of that strike is you have to kill 3 waves of enemies before you can proceed to the next. The Mars strike, you have to kill 3 bosses. I mean, are we noticing a repetitive trend here? But it's essentially a strike mechanic, and then they've added in these objectives, which are just public events, basically. So all they did was they combined two parts of the game, and essentially just that's their new game mode, and that's what they're calling their new game mode. So again, it's very lazy development. It's nothing new. It's stuff that's already in the game that already exists. They're just basically mashing it up together and saying, oh, this is this new, innovative, incredible game mode, and it's really not. So that's my opinion overall on it, guys. I felt it's a very lazy design aspect. It seems like the rest of the game, I did that video where I showed you in the campaign how every single map and every single level is essentially the exact same thing. You have horde mode throughout this entire game. You have it in all the strikes. So that's why I was very confused why so many people were excited about this, why so many people would want this type of mode as a kind of a permanent in-game mode. I don't really understand it. To me, it's lazy content, it's lazy design. And this is stuff, like, honestly, that should have been in the game when the game came out. If you think about there's other games that have had this exact same kind of mode. Call of Duty has had zombies forever. Even go back to Modern Warfare 2 and 3, you had the survival mode where you had to survive 10 waves of enemies that kept increasing, and they'd send dogs after you and juggernauts after you and soldiers, and at the end of each round you could buy new weapons and airstrikes and care packages and other things. That's essentially what this is. It's the same thing. And Call of Duty has had this. Halo ODST had this. It's essentially firefight. Mass Effect 3 has a horde mode multiplayer. Halo Reach had a firefight. And the kicker is all of these games included this as part of the base game. It wasn't an add-on. It wasn't DLC that you had to pay for, that you had to buy. So that's quite possibly my biggest complaint about this is, like, I'm just really getting tired of Bungie putting stuff in the game that other games have had in them for years, and then Bungie acts like they want a cookie for it. Like, this is something we're doing you guys a favor. This is this awesome, great, new, innovative game mode, when it's really not. It's not at all. It's nothing innovative. Other companies have been doing this for a long time. And I'm just still baffled at what happened to Bungie. I don't know if it's their pairing up with Activision that has made them change so much, but they used to be an awesome company. I mean, they made some awesome games with some amazing content and amazing PvP and everything. And then they give us Destiny, which this is a game they've supposedly been working on for 5 to 7 years, however long. And then this is the end product. It makes no sense to me. It just really makes no sense to me why people continually just defend this and get so hyped up for this stuff. Everybody that's getting excited for this DLC, you're basically paying for the exact same content that's already in the game. It's just getting rehashed and reskinned. So again, I'm not sure where all the excitement's coming from. And this kind of extends, I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on some of the other stuff with House of Wolves. Because, it really kind of sucks, because the first stream they did, with the review when they had King Gathalion on, was really, really good. I thought it was great. It was very exciting. It showed us a lot of cool features that they were putting in the game that they had listened to the community on, the weapon re-rolling, all the new gear, making it easier to get to level 34, which at the time I thought was a little too good to be true, and now we've kind of seen that is, because that etheric light you're going to need to upgrade all your weapons and all of your gear to get to the end game level, you're going to have to play the in-game versions of these new DLC modes, which are essentially, gated to only people in clans and pre-mades and people with friends, and it's going to be difficult. Like I said, I'm going to do the matchmaking. I'll get into that in a separate video. I don't want to do that now. But that's essentially how it's going to work. So I knew that when they announced all those changes, how easy it was going to be. Like, I knew that etheric light they were talking about was not going to have a very high drop rate, and it was going to be very difficult to achieve. Now, you'll still be able to get it if you don't get the DLC, because you can get it through the Nightfall Strikes as a random drop, and you can also get it in the Iron Banner at rank 3 and rank 5 as a guaranteed drop. So it's just very interesting. Now, like I said, the first stream they did, very exciting, very good stream. I thought a lot of people thought King Gathalion was really annoying, and I'm guessing those were the fanboys, because I thought he did a great job. He asked a lot of hard questions. He asked a lot of things about the content in the game and what was going to improve. And overall, just did a very good job. It was a very good first stream that they did. Now, the Trials of Osiris stream, it was very boring. It was almost like they told the guys who were participating, you're not allowed to ask any questions. And the whole time they had this look on their face like, we hope to God no one realizes this is just a glorified skirmish mode. Because I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody who has exclusive content or anything like that says. Trials of Osiris is basically a glorified skirmish mode that they made they made it a hardcore skirmish mode is all they did. So it's just like Inferno Control. They made some modifiers, made it a hardcore version of the game. It's not something that should have been added in as DLC. It's another game mode that should have been with the game from the get-go. So that's my problem, and this is just all very lazy content on Bungie's part going into this DLC. And really the sad thing is most of the cool stuff that we're getting with the DLC in terms of the new gear and the upgrading the new gear and being able to wear whatever you want and upgrade your old legendaries, that stuff's all part of the free patch update. It's not part of the DLC. All the stuff that's being sold as the DLC is very lackluster, in my opinion, of course. A lot of people are going to like it. A lot of the fanboys love it. Whatever. I just really don't understand all the hype over such lazy design and such lazy content. Trials of Osiris is just a reskin of a current PvP mode. Prison of Elders is just a mashup of strikes and public events. It's nothing new. It's nothing innovative. Again, like I said, this is a game mode that has been in other first-person shooter games for the last 10 years, and Bungie's acting like this is some amazing thing that we should have to pay for as DLC content. So I don't really get it. I don't understand the hype for it. My only last hope now for House of Wolves is that the 3 story missions are going to be good. I'm not holding my breath on that. They're probably going to be just like the Dark Below, where we finish them in 45 minutes and that's it in terms of the new story content. I have watched some of the exclusive content on YouTube of the new strike, the Shadow Thief strike. Most of the people are completing that in 10 to 11 minutes. So what that tells me is it's just the same old, it's just like doing the Nexus and Devil's Lair and all. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be run through it real fast. It's just an 11-minute strike and drops the same crappy blue rewards. So again, guys, why is everyone so excited about getting the exact same content? I don't understand. I don't really understand it at all. But my closing thoughts is basically what's going to happen with the House of Wolves. Now, of course, you're going to have a lot of the YouTubers are telling you to go buy the DLC right now and just to not wait to see. Just go buy it, And of course, if I was given access to exclusive stuff, I might be tempted to say that too. But, I'm going to tell you guys to wait. Now, I already bought the Season Pass, so I'm getting it regardless. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically play through all of it and put it on YouTube for you guys. I'm going to try to do it all the day the game comes out. Basically, I'm going to go through with all my characters, and I'm going to show you all the new gear that's available for the armor and things, and I'll probably put the story missions up on YouTube so you guys can see what kind of content is there, and then let you guys make an informed decision. You need to see it before you buy it. Don't just blindly go out there and purchase it, because that's what Bungie's hoping for. That's the reason that gaming in general, as it is right now, is not very good, because you have so many people that are just willing to blindly buy things and willing to go in and just give these companies their money without seeing anything. So I would suggest you guys just don't, just wait. If you haven't bought the DLC already, then basically hold off and wait, and then maybe go in and do what you want to do. If you want to buy it after you see it, then go buy it. But I would, like I said, wait and make an informed decision, because what I really think is going to happen here is this is essentially the content that you are going to get until the basically until the Comet DLC comes out, which is going to be in September, or so we think, in September. Now, what's going to happen is this content in House of Wolves is it's the same thing. It's the same repetitive, simple content over and over again. And like even with the stuff you're doing, with Prison of Elders, you can only play that. Basically, you can only play that once a week on your 3 characters. So it's the same thing as the raid. You're going to come in, you're going to do the same thing every single week. Now, they're saying it's going to be different because it's going to offer waves of different enemies and things like that. But from what they showed in the stream, they got the hive like the whole time they were doing it, and they got the same objectives every time. They kept getting the the diffuse the mines in every single objective wave. So I don't think it's really going to be all that great. So I would temper my expectations. And like I said, what's going to happen is people are gonna see that this is just the same repetitive thing over and over and over again, and you're going to be done with it in 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to be through it all. You're going to have all your new gear. You're going to be, and then you're going to be asking yourself, well, now what? You know, just like most of us have been since the game came out. You get through the initial content, and it's like, well, now what? What do I do now? So I think that is going to be exactly what happens here, and then people are going to have to wait another 3 to 4 months to get more content to the game. And yeah, it's just more of the same. So guys, I'm not very excited now. Like I said, I was very excited after the first reveal stream they did, and then my excitement level has just dropped significantly every week with each new reveal. It's just more of the same. It's more lazy content, more lazy design. So I'm sorry guys for all the doom and gloom about House of Wolves. I'm sure some of you are looking forward to it. You know, but like I said, wait and see what's actually going to come out. You know, because a lot of the in-game stuff, like Trials of Osiris, and even Prison of Elders, the end game part of it's going to be restricted to a very small portion of the player base because there's no matchmaking. And even Deej made a comment towards the end of the stream, which really kind of put me off a little bit. He said, this is for the Destiny elite. So you're essentially admitting that you're making this content for a very small portion of the players. I thought that was really interesting from the so-called community manager. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this my commentary on the House of Wolves Prison of Elders reveal. Thank you guys if you stayed through the whole thing listening to me complain about it. But again, you know, I'm just trying to understand why people just keep falling for the same simplistic content in the game over and over again. I have my thoughts on that, and I'll do, like I said, another video on my matchmaking thoughts too, so look forward to that. Anyways, guys, I hope you're having a good Wednesday. This is Techno Viking 23 with the commentary on the House of Wolves, Prison of Elders. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time.